Happy holidays everyone, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating, I hope you had a great time. My Christmas gift to you, yes, it's a little bit late as always, but nevertheless, a worst to best video. And in this video we're gonna rank every map in Battlefield 5 from worst to best. I actually wanted to wait with this video until we got all maps from the Pacific, but I decided, nah, I wanna get one final worst to best video out before the end of the year, before the end of the decade. Currently there are 18 maps in the Battlefield 5 multiplayer, not counting the Firestorm map, and to be honest, this was actually a pretty easy list to make. So without any further ado, let's start with the worst map in Battlefield 5. As of today, making this video, so maybe I will make an updated version somewhere down the line when we have more maps. Anyway, the very worst map in Battlefield 5 is actually quite difficult because all maps in Battlefield 5 are pretty awesome. So that, nah, just kidding, it's FL456 or whatever its name is, easily the biggest pile of garbage in terms of the maps in Battlefield 5. Very small in terms of the playable area because you can't get on top of those hills. As infantry you are basically just fish in a barrel for the planes, especially back in the day when planes could spawn before the infantry, like who came up with that? And of course the snow. It makes the already awful UI in this game even worse. I often can't see anything, so for that reason I rank it as the very worst map in Battlefield 5. Moving on to the second worst map in this game, this place easily goes to Hamada. It sucks on Breakthrough, it sucks on Conquest, it sucks either way. And a quick note on how I rank these this time around. I do not only look at the Conquest layout of the map like I did in Battlefield 1. If it is fun on Breakthrough and not on Conquest, I will just rank it based on my experience with Breakthrough. So the most fun I have with a map. And that is how I'm gonna do it for today. But yeah, Hamada, it is too big. There's almost no fun to have in my opinion on this map. Except maybe the area with all the ruins. But besides that, no thanks. Oh, and I do think the Sandstorm is pretty cool. It makes the map in many ways even worse, but at least it looks cool. Next up we have a very similar map to Hamada in terms of its size. It's Panzerstorm. I think this might be the worst map for infantry in the entire game. However, if you are a tanker for example, or maybe a pilot, you might actually really like this map. But if you don't have a vehicle, it's not gonna be a lot of fun. Maybe for snipers, maybe. I would for sure prefer to play this map on Breakthrough rather than Conquest. Let me know what you think of this map down below. Up next we have yet another huge map. El Sandan, or however you pronounce it. It's ranked this low for the same reason as I mentioned with Hamada and Panzerstorm. However, for smaller game modes like Team Deathmatch for example, I actually really like the map. Lots of buildings and verticality. The brown doo-doo color makes me want to throw up though after a while, but nevertheless overall I'm gonna rank it this low. Next up we have a map that I think is pretty high up the list for most people, but not for me. It's Devastation. Now don't get me wrong, it's a decent infantry map, there is some cool fighting going on in the church in the middle, but the blue tone of this map just annoys me. But the worst aspect of this map is definitely the visibility. There is so much rubble and stuff, it's basically like a prone MMG camper's heaven. You often simply cannot see people, let alone if they are going prone. But other than that, it's not that bad, but I have to rank it like this. Next up is the map called Provence. I bet you forgot about this map, didn't you? This map is only available for small game modes like Domination and Team Deathmatch, and therefore is often forgotten about in Battlefield 5 since most people play Conquest or Breakthrough. It is also pretty hard to find a lot of servers with this map, but I played it and it's actually not that bad. It's a close quarter only map with some buildings and narrow passages, so that's pretty cool. But I can't say much more than that. It's an okay map, so I can't place it any higher than this. Up next is Twisted Steel. I had to think very hard where to place this map on the list, because I don't really like it that much on Conquest. However, on Breakthrough, it can be a lot of fun. It's often 50-50 for me, but nevertheless, when it is fun, it is actually a lot of fun to play. First sector is kinda annoying, but the second sector is pretty cool. I know for pilots, this map is a farming ground, so I can imagine it being higher up the list for pilots. Next up, Operation Underground, a highly anticipated map for Battlefield 5, a remake of the beloved meat grinder called Operation Metro. Is it the same fun meat grinder that everybody knows and loves from Battlefield 3? No, it is a lot different. Yes, it's very linear of course, but it's less chaotic and it has more flanking opportunities, so that's good, but it just doesn't have that edge for me. I don't know. I like it, but it's not that amazing. You can go on an insane kill streak if you are in the zone, and that's a pretty amazing feeling. Let's continue with the next map on the list, which is Aerodrome. I don't care what anybody says, I like this map. I like it on Conquest, I like it on Breakthrough. You have some CQB areas, some long range areas, always decent cover. Hilltop campers can be a bit annoying, but overall I really enjoy this map. The last sector on Breakthrough is just pure cancer though, but maybe that's just part of the charm. Who knows. Overall I really enjoy this map. Whenever I get this map next, I know I'm gonna have a good time. Next we have Narvik. Now initially I truly hated this map. At first I thought it was even worse than Fjell, but that's probably because we got to play it so much in the beta, so I got a bit sick of it. But now I still don't really like it. However, on Airborne it's a different story. The map is pretty awesome. It's dark, but not too dark. The sky is lit up by the northern lights, which looks absolutely amazing. And it has decent balance across the board. I really like it. It's the only snow map I think in Battlefield 5 that I really enjoy, but only on Airborne. Next up, Merida. Again, at first I didn't really like this map that much, but it's actually a pretty decent map. It's an infantry only map, so no tanks and no planes. It has a pretty interesting shape to it. A lot of those close quarter fights are happening in the middle, which I really like. Lots of buildings that you can go into. It's pretty cool on Conquest, but also on Breakthrough. It supports a lot of playstyles, even sniping, but only in the first sector on Breakthrough. Overall, a decent map, I like it and it looks amazing. Now for the next map on the list, pretty sure most of you don't even remember this one. It's Lavadan Islands, or however you pronounce it, which is very reminiscent of the environment of the Panzerstorm map, at least the non-snowy area. This map has two different layouts, one on Squad Conquest I believe, and the other one is just regular team deathmatch. So again, this is a small game mode only map. What you're seeing in the background now is the team deathmatch layout, and it was surprisingly a lot of fun to me. I really enjoyed it. I think this is the best team deathmatch map in Battlefield 5. It looks great, it plays great. Lots of people are sleeping on this map, but that's not strange because again there are no servers, almost no servers for this map. But I do highly recommend playing this map if you enjoy small game modes. Up next we have the newest addition to Battlefield 5, Wake Island. Again, a remake of the classic Wake Island map from other Battlefield titles. This time around in Battlefield 5 it looks great, but it doesn't play as good in my opinion. It's still fun, don't get me wrong, on Breakthrough it's pretty interesting. But I have to admit that I expected more from the Wake Island remake. Let me know down below what you guys think of this map. It's definitely the weakest map from the Pacific in my opinion. Next up we have Mercury. I think this was the very first DLC map that I actually enjoyed in Battlefield 5. The others seemed very underwhelming, but Mercury had everything for me. It had planes, tanks, infantry obviously. It looked amazing, like really it's very aesthetically pleasing, you know, the blue sky and the grass and everything. Great areas to fight in. I really like this map. I think it's best played on Conquest, but on Breakthrough it's not too bad either. Next up we have Eras. Whenever this map comes up next, I know I'm gonna have a good time. This is definitely one of the best vanilla maps in the game. I love how it looks, I love how it plays, you know, with the tall grass and the yellow and green color palette. You have long range fighting, CQB fighting, tanks, planes. Again, a true Battlefield map, and in my opinion it deserves to be near the top. And now, ladies and gentlemen, mostly gentlemen, we are entering the top 3 maps in Battlefield 5. And keep in mind, this is simply my list. You can have a different opinion of course, let me know down below. On number 3, I have decided to go with Rotterdam. This is simply an all-round great urban map. It reminds me a lot of Amiens from Battlefield 1. It has a lot of CQB areas, as you expect from an urban map. It also has some interesting pathing with a lot of vertical gameplay inside buildings and on top of the bridge. You have a lot of different playstyles, but it's best suited for aggressive players, which I really enjoy. You know, you can jump off the bridge in the water to not take fall damage. You have lots of ways to get around the map, like I said. It's a well thought out map and I really enjoyed it. Best played on Conquest in my opinion. Now for the top 2 maps in Battlefield 5. Honestly, you could swap these two around, but ultimately I decided to go with this order. On number 2 we have Pacific Storm. I love the Pacific maps in this game, except for Wake Island maybe. Pacific Storm and Iwo Jima single-handedly saved Battlefield 5 for me. It regained my interest again. We got that true World War II feeling we all asked for. We got the American faction and the Japanese faction. They look authentic. It was awesome to assault as the Americans with these amphibious vehicles. Obviously both are best played on Breakthrough. The sectors are well thought out. I really enjoyed these two maps. So the number one map in Battlefield 1 at the moment, we obviously gonna get more maps in the future, is Iwo Jima. Like I said, you could easily swap number 1 and number 2 around. I decided to put Iwo Jima on number 1 simply because of the first sector on Breakthrough. It feels way cooler because of those black beaches and the slightly more immersive World War II experience I get when playing Iwo Jima. However, all the other sectors, so besides the first one, is better and more enjoyable on Pacific Storm. So like I said, you could swap these two around, but they definitely deserve to be on the top spot because like I said, these two maps single-handedly saved Battlefield 5 for me. Too bad DICE had to mess everything up again with the new Time to Kill update, but that's a different story. So now that you watched all the way till the end, you are legally obliged to subscribe and of course like the video if you enjoyed. It really helps a lot if you do. Tell me down below in the comment section what your thoughts are on this list. If you agree or disagree, let me know down below what your list is. Thanks for watching and I see you guys next time.